he just went low. He's in his head. He's in his head. He's open his head wide open. Cracked open at the base.
Welcome everyone, it's Mario Man 100. Welcome back to the Mario Kart Marathon. Let's continue on by reviewing the next game in the series. Let's take a look at the next handheld game and my favorite game in the series, Mario Kart DS for the Nintendo DS. A new handheld being rumoured then announced by Nintendo meant one thing. Another system for a new entry in the Mario Kart franchise, and Nintendo knew this considering this was released within the first year of the Nintendo DS's release in almost every region worldwide. Nintendo announced on May 11, 2004 that they planned to release a Mario Kart game for the system, while also revealing some gameplay footage. They offered the game for the public to play for the first time at GDC in 2005. Mario Kart DS was produced by Hideki Kono alongside Nintendo and developed by Nintendo EAD Group 1. The game runs at a consistent 60 frames per second and uses full 3D characters and environments, which was carried over from 64 and Double Dash. The game introduced so many features to the series, some which changed the franchise forever. The first is dual screen gameplay with the gameplay on the top screen and a map of each racetrack on the bottom screen. The second addition was other racetracks returning from the previous 4 entries of the series with the concept of retro tracks, adding 4 more cups to the Grand Prix selection. Super Circuit technically had this first, but DS coined the term retro tracks, which was a great addition, especially for people like me who had never played the series before, so we could experience the past as well as the present, even if it was only a small taste of that past. The third addition was a new mode and way to play the game with mission mode. In this mode, the player must try to complete various missions, each with objectives that can range from collecting coins to attacking enemies. I'll talk about that mode a little more later on when we get to modes, but we have one more addition to talk about, and this is the big one. The big addition is online multiplayer. The game has multiple ways to play multiplayer, whether it's involving only one cartridge between players, or if everyone has a copy of the game, but the game changed with the addition of online multiplayer. Now, you don't even need to be in the same room to play the game together. You can now play the game with anyone around the world. It might be something that's pretty standard now, but this was arguably the biggest addition to the series apart from multiplayer in general, or more playable characters. Let's start with the character roster, since we get some new additions but quite a few omissions too. This is probably due to this game being on a cartridge rather than on disc at the time, so we only have a 12 character roster to choose from compared to Double Dash's 20. This is probably the only problem I have with this game, but considering this is where I started, I didn't have an issue here. It's a little blemish on the game, but not too huge of a deal. Koopa Troopa goes missing after one game again, while Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, Birdo, Bowser Jr., Diddy Kong, King Boo, Paratrooper, Petey Piranha, and Toadette get cut as well. Our roster for the game is the following: Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, Yoshi, Toad, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Wario, with unlockable characters Princess Daisy, Waluigi, and newcomers Drybones, and Rob, with Shy Guy also debuting in DS Download Play Multiplayer only. So yes, even the robotic operating buddy NES add-on gets to be a playable character, before getting added to Smash Bros. Brawl a couple of years later. I love this roster, and considering this was my first Mario Kart game, I didn't feel let down or anything like that, since I didn't have any experience with the previous game in the franchise. If I had played Double Dash beforehand,
maybe I'd feel let down, but considering the hardware, I'm not surprised by this approach. We got some cool additions to this game, but one not talked about too much is individual carts being included for the first time. We had multiple cart options in the last game, but now each of the 12 playable characters, not counting Shy Guy since they only have the standard cart, have 3 unique carts to choose from, so let's dive into that. All characters have the standard cart, so we'll skip that. Mario has the B-Dasher and Shooting Star. Luigi has the Poltergust 4000 and the Streamliner. Princess Peach has the Royale and the Light Tripper. Yoshi has the Egg 1 and the Cucumber. Toad has the Mushmallow, nice pun there, and the 4-wheel cradle. DK has the Rambi Rider and Wildlife. Wario has the Brute and the Dragonfly. Bowser has the Tyrant and the Hurricane. Princess Daisy has the Power Flower and the Light Dancer. Dry Bones has the Banisher and the Dry Bomber. While Luigi has the Gold Mantis and the Zipper. And Rob has the ROB, BLS, and ROB, LGS. Quite a few cool designs in these carts, and I will say, a bunch of these cart options are unlockable through gameplay in Grand Prix mode. The designs of the carts are, for the majority, very damn good, and that's not just nostalgia talking, it's actually got some good variety in designs, from a Formula 1 race car, to a tractor, to a digger, to a bloody tank. They went crazy with ideas, and I love it for that. Now, the game has quite a few items to use to your advantage, 17 in fact, which sounds like a lot, but a bunch of items from Double Dash have been removed, due to DS going back to single drivers per cart again. Some of the special items return, but not all, so let's take a look at what we have. We have the staples in banana peels, red and green shells, the mushroom, lightning bolt, Boo, and Starman. Then the fake item box from 64 returning with triple mushrooms and the spiny shell. Then the golden mushroom, triple red shells, triple green shells, and the bob-omb as the returning special items from Double Dash. We have a couple of new additions as well. First off is triple banana peels. This item acts like the bunches of banana peels from 64, but only 3 banana peels in the pile instead of 5. Next is the blooper, which goes to every racer ahead of you in the race and sprays ink in their faces. This makes the racers slow down and weave all over the track because they can't see. When used against a multiplayer opponent or Wi-Fi opponent, ink covers part of their DS screen, obscuring their vision, but they are not forced to slow down. The ink can be wiped off by using a mushroom or hitting a boost pad, otherwise it's wiped off over time. Not the most useful item unless it's against CPUs, unfortunately. Lastly, we have the awesome looking Bullet Bill. The racer's cart will transform into the Bullet Bill and then both boost and auto drive the cart for a few seconds until it disappears. It will also knock over any other racers who collide with it. You can steer the Bullet Bill slightly with left and right on the D-pad. The Bullet Bill also provides invincibility, even to people using the Starman. You can't really grab this item unless you're near the back of the pack in a race, but it's so useful to help get you back up to near the front of the race, unless the races are really spread out on the track. So let's talk about the controls for this game since they're pretty comfortable. So the A button accelerates the cart and is confirmed in menus. The B button brakes the cart, and holding the button down makes the cart reverse after it fully stops, but is also decline in menus. The X button uses your current item, as does the L button. The Y button toggles the bottom screen's overhead view of the map to a different one. The R button makes the cart jump, while holding the button down makes the cart drift. You can also press left and right on the D-pad back and forth to build up the power boost from nothing to blue to finally orange. Pressing the start button pauses during a race, and the select button, or blowing your breath into the DS's microphone during a balloon battle, inflates your balloons in reserve, which is only 4. Lastly, the combo of holding the B and A buttons and pressing left and right on the D-pad will turn the kart while it's not moving. The controls are pretty comfortable, especially with more buttons to use compared to Super Circuit, though considering I've played the game since 2005, that's not really a surprise. DS features 5 single-player game modes: the usual Grand Prix, and Time Trial, then Versus, and Battle, now being available outside of multiplayer. Then, like I mentioned before, the new Mission mode. Both Grand Prix and Versus modes require that the player choose an engine class to race with, from 50, 100, 150cc, and the unlockable Mirror mode. Grand Prix is exactly the same as previously, but now more cups are available. More on that shortly. That's it. Time Trial is the same as well, with the only difference being that depending on what kart you use, it comes with either 1, 2, or 3 mushrooms to use. I think the fastest kart gets 1, and the slowest for each character gets 3. The fastest time is saved as a ghost to race against later, like in Double Dash. In Versus, the player races on a track of their choosing, either against computer-controlled opponents, or in local multiplayer. This can be played either individually, or for the first time, in teams, which separates racers into a blue team and a red team. In multiplayer, players can control which team they are placed on. In addition, the number of races played, or the number of race wins, can also be modified. Plenty of choices are always good, especially for multiplayer. Lots of fun to be had. Battle mode in this game is available for both multiplayer and, for the first time, in single player as well. It features 2 game modes, Balloon Battle and a new mode called Shine Runners, which seems like an evolution to Shine Thief from Double Dash, which allows the player or players to play either individually or in teams. Balloon Battle is the same as it usually is, but here's the changes with the mode. Each racer starts the battle with 1 balloon, but like I said in the controls part, we have 4 reserve balloons for each player that can be used by either blowing into the microphone or holding down the select button. Boosting into other racers can also allow you to steal balloons as well. Last person standing or the remaining team in the battle, depending on what way you play the battles, wins. Exclusively in multiplayer, if a human player loses all of their balloons, they are out of the game and turn into a ghost. As a ghost, a player can place item boxes around the arena, which definitely would help in a team setting, but this is done to potentially end the battle sooner rather than later, until the last team or person, again, is left standing. If the battle is played in single player, the match ends and the results are announced when all the human players' balloons are popped. In the new Shine Runners, the player must collect Shine Sprites. The player can attack other racers to take a Shine Sprite away from them, and racers with the fewest Shine Sprites are eliminated from the game over time. The mode expands from Shine Thief, which only featured 1 shine to collect and hold for a set timer, so now it features multiple shines around the battle arena until they are all collected. Last man or team standing wins. If only CPU players remain, the game ends immediately and the results of the battle are randomized. I mean, the game picks who wins and that, so it's crazy to see when you're the racer out first in single player. Lastly, we have a new mode added to single player, and that is Mission mode. I alluded to it earlier, but this is an entirely new addition to the series, and it's absolutely fantastic. The player must complete missions, each with objectives ranging from collecting coins, or attacking enemies in a set amount of time, racing one-on-one against a rival, driving through a certain amount of gates, or achieving a certain amount of mini-turbo boosts in a particular amount of laps. In each mission, the player controls a random character chosen by the game, mission to mission. There are 7 levels with 8 missions in each level. After completing each mission, the player's performance is given a grade, ranging from the lowest being C, to the highest being a triple star ranking, unless you outright fail the mission, where the game will ask you whether you want to try the mission again, or quit to play another mission entirely. After all the 8 missions in a level are complete, the player must complete a boss mission to advance to the next level. This ranges from boss fights against King Bob-omb, the Big Bully, to even King Boo. Once the first 6 levels are complete and the ranking of at least 1 star has been obtained on every mission in those 6 levels, the 7th level is unlocked, with the most challenging missions in the game. This mode adds a lot for the single player to do in their own time, and it's a fantastic addition to the series. It's too bad that this is technically the only game to feature this mode in the game itself. More on that in the next review. It sucks that it hasn't returned in another game again. It's fantastic. Like a Double Dash type of mode, I'd love to see mission mode return as well in the future. In terms of multiplayer, there are a couple of modes to choose from. First, 8 players can race each other using the DS download play feature, using only 1 copy of the game, and also consoles without a cartridge or a multi-card wireless LAN connection. Available to the players are Versus mode, with only the Mushroom and Shell Cup racetracks available, and the 2 battle modes, where only 3 of the 6 courses are available. The players with no cartridges have to play as Shy Guy, like I said previously, and are forced to use a standard cart, which is coloured alongside the randomly selected colour of the Shy Guy. Until it was discontinued on the 20th of May 2014, Mario Kart DS also supported online play via the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, in which up to 4 players could play together. When playing online, participants could only race against each other since Battle Mode was not available online. These few modes are not available in the Wii U Virtual Console version because the multiplayer features were not emulated in that version of the game. Overall, I love all these modes in this game, especially Mission Mode. Heaps of replay value with a bunch of variety. To move over to the racetracks, we have 32 racetracks to choose from. Yes, 32 in this game, and this is the first game to feature that many, due to, like I mentioned before, this game introducing the idea officially of retro tracks with 4 more cups to race for. We have the return of Super Circuit's Lightning Cup, but we also get the Shell, Banana Peel, and Leaf Cups that are all new. Each of the retro cups adds a track each from the 4 previous games, so 1 from Super Mario Kart, 1 from 64, 1 from Super Circuit, and 1 from Double Dash in each cup. Pretty good choices too, almost the best collection of retro tracks, if not the best ever. Great way for the concept to get introduced. Favourites of that are Bowser's Castle 2 from Super Circuit, Banshee Boardwalk from 64, Sky Garden from Super Circuit, and Baby Park from Double Dash. As for the new tracks, there are a bunch of cool racetracks here. My favourites there are Airship Fortress, Luigi's Mansion, Shroom Ridge, and Waluigi Pinball to name a few, but there are some strong track ideas and designs here, almost the best new designs in any entry I'd argue. As for the battle arenas, we have 6 arenas, 4 new ones and 2 retro ones, all which are pretty good, with Block Fort from 64 and Pipe Plaza from Double Dash returning. So overall, fantastic arenas and a great list of racetracks too. To talk lastly about the presentation, graphics, and music of the game, all of it looks and sounds great for the system. The individual racetracks and backgrounds look great and make the world feel very much alive and lived in, especially tracks like Delfino Square, Shroom Ridge, and this game's version of Mario Circuit. The vehicles have really cool designs, even the standard carts for each character too, and the presentation of them in the game look fantastic too. As for the character models themselves, they are a little jaggy, but they aren't too bad. They still look good, but years going by don't help how they look. As for the music and soundtrack for the game, it's fantastic. Lots of different genres with tracks of all paces. Even the battle arena music is great, and the remixes for the retro tracks are done really well too. Some of my favourite tracks in the game are GBA Sky Garden, Figure 8 Circuit, Rainbow Road, and my absolute favourite in the game, Waluigi Pinball. But the soundtrack as a whole is an absolute banger masterclass.
You can definitely tell that I love this game, but I can't talk about this game without some type of bias. I started the series with this game since it was the first Mario Kart game I had ever owned, and I played and enjoyed it that much that I became a die-hard Mario fan in general. for like the whole franchise. That's how good this game was for me, and I still love every single minute of it. The game sold around 23.6 million copies worldwide, making it the third best-selling DS game and the third best-selling Mario Kart game behind Juggernauts, Mario Kart Wii, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I have no problem giving this game a 10 out of 10 if I had to give it a score. It changed the series in so many ways and improved many previous editions as well, making it the overall greatest package. Nostalgic for sure, but geez, what a game. So with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This has been Mario Man 100. You guys have a great day or night, and of course, take care. Next time in the Mario Kart Marathon, we move on to the next console game with motion controls aplenty with Mario Kart Wii for the Nintendo Wii.